So it's winter time here in Europe, and considering I'm from Australia, I do not like the cold. But it is undeniable that the frost and the snow make everything look absolutely magical. In my opinion, every season's grilling season. And because I forgot to film an intro yesterday, this is what we did: a festive spiced beef leg. Now this says Traeger hickory on it, but it's not. I just like the bag because it's a bit of a sturdier bag. And then I put the rest of the pellets into it. I always use birch for pellets. For me, this is the local, more local, so you could say, wood here in Austria. It's one of the cheapest, and I think gives the best smoke flavour. Now I'm only going to be cooking one thing while I'm here because I have to leave again tomorrow. So I'm not going to fill it right up. We'll give it about halfway, but we'll just keep an eye to make sure we don't run out of pellets during the cook. Alright, we'll get that closed up. Now we're going to hook the power up. Alright, hopefully it starts up. Ooh baby, gonna be good. Alright, so if you own one of these older pit bosses, like I do, you have to self-prime it, which you just got to hold your finger down on this prime button. And it takes about 8 to 9 minutes for the pellets to get to here in the burn chamber. So we'll come back once I get the pellets in there. Alright, you can see the smoke starting to come out. That means I can let go of this prime button and just let the magic happen. Love this smell. Even though it's just a pellet grill and it's mainly, you know, electrical stuff, there's just something about cooking over smoke. I love it. Alright, I can see the flame starting to come now. The smoke will disappear in a minute. I can see my little burn pot through the sear zone here. So I can see we've got a fire going in there. So I'm just going to close that up. And we'll close down the lid. Now I like to turn this up to 230 degrees. Now I only do this when I first start it back up. I just like to get it nice and hot, you know. In my head it kind of sanitizes everything, makes everything good. So we'll leave this get up to its 230 degrees Celsius, and we'll leave it sit there for around 20 minutes, which is a good thing because that gives us plenty of time to get this beef leg ready. Now we're going to make a Christmassy themed rub for our beef leg. Now I do have proper amounts and ingredients for this rub that we'll put in the description box down below. But essentially it consists of brown sugar, some cracked tried coloured pepper, and I'm adding some sweet paprika. Now I would like to add half sweet and half smoked, but I only got my hands on some sweet paprika, so we'll double up the sweet paprika for this one. Then we're going in with some cinnamon. Then we're going in with some allspice, which is piment. Next we're going in with some clove. Next we're going in with some coriander seed. Obviously all these are ground up. Next is some ginger powder, some star anise, some garlic powder, and finally for this rub, some very old onion powder. Now we just go ahead and get it all mixed up. This is a lot of ingredients to go into a rub. That is true, but sometimes you just got to be a little extra. A big piece of meat. Now, because I've had this sitting out a little bit, the outside's dried out a little bit, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this balsamic cream on there, just to get things a little tackier. Just as a binder. Make sure everything sticks nice and good. Okay, so I didn't put any salt in my rub because I like to salt the meat separately. So we're just going to go ahead right now and give it a good dosing of salt. This is a huge piece of meat, so don't be shy with the salt. You can take it. Now we're going to pack on this rub. Once you get the rub on, just give it a little pat. Make sure the rub sticks. Alright, so my barbecue's been nice and hot here for a while, and in my opinion, sanitized to a satisfactory condition. So now we're just going to turn the temperature down to 120 degrees, and we'll just leave the door open to let everything cool down a little bit. And then it's going to be perfect timing for that rub to sit on the meat and let it sweat out a little bit so all that rub sticks. Okay, so I got the pork belly mats and the middle rack there removed because this big piece of meat won't fit on there with all that on there. Also, I'm going to be cooking a little hotter than usual. So that means with a pellet grill especially, we're gonna need some extra smoke, which is where my smoke tube comes in handy. So, just gonna go onto the hopper here, and we're gonna get this bad boy filled up. All right, so we'll get this started up. So I've got my pellets alight. Now I'm going to let it burn for just about a minute or so, and then we'll blow it out just to make sure it's all caught. So this has been going for a while. All you need to do now, blow the flame out, and that'll continue to smolder away and give us some nice smoke flavour. Now it's time to get this big piece of meat on the grill. Right in the centre, pride of place. Now all that's left to do, close down the lid, temperature set. It's the beauty of a pellet grill. Now we can enjoy this beautiful morning. So we're going to make up a little spritzing sauce for the beef leg. To tie in with the same flavours that we made the beef rub, we're going to make this mop sauce very similar. We're going to go in with some orange juice, some water, some apple cider vinegar, maybe a little bit more, and all these spices. We've got some sugar, cinnamon, ground clove, allspice, ginger, and a little bit of an umami seasoning for that extra oomph. In they go. And to amp up that orangey flavour, we're just going to peel in a little bit of this orange zest. Alright, then we're just going to give this a little whisk, and then warm it up till everything's dissolved. And optionally, a splash of rum. Now just bring it up to a boil, make sure everything's nice and dissolved. Alright, once it's up to a boil and everything's dissolved, you can turn off the heat. Now because I bought orange juice with pulp in it, I'm going to send this through a strainer, just so it doesn't clog up my little sprayer that I'm going to pour this into. It's time to check the meat out. Been rolling on along here for about an hour and a half, and it's starting to get a little dried out around the edges, which is perfect because now it's time to give it a spray. So my spray bottle instantly blocked up using this thing, but I have some Christmas tree branches here, and it's going to work just fine. So we're going to use this Christmas tree branch here and put some rub on the crispier bits of this meat. Alright, I'm going to leave the liquid in there, keep it nice and warm, close it down, and just keep letting it do its thing. So the sun's out, and the meat's been on for just over 5 hours. My smoke tube in the back here is all burnt out, and this is pretty much taking on as much smoke as it's going to get. So I'm going to start braising it. Alright, so I'm just going to pick the whole thing up, stick it into a little dish I got here. Now I'm going to pour the rest of my little spritzing sauce that I made up before. We'll pour all that in there. I'm going to leave the thermometer right where it is. And we're just going to get a big piece of alfoil and wrap it up nice and tight. Alright, back on the smoker it goes. We're going to turn up the temperature and get this thing nice and tender. I like my Brussels sprouts with some bacon, so that's what we're starting off with. Into a cold pan goes your bacon chunks. Then turn your pan onto a medium heat and let them start to render out and get nice and crispy. Alright, once your bacon's nice and crispy, well, take it out of the pan. So if your bacon didn't render too much fat like mine, go ahead and add a little bit of oil to the pan. Then go ahead, add your Brussels sprouts, cut side down. Alright, once you got good colour on the cut side, you want to get them out and get them all looking like this. Alright, once all your sprouts have got good colour, get them all back into the pan, along with the bacon. Also some chestnuts that have been roughly chopped. And then finish it off with some balsamic cream. Gently mix all this together, because you don't want to break up all the sprouts. And you just want to keep this on a medium heat, till it's all mixed through, and the sprouts are done to your liking. They shouldn't be too mush. You want a little bit of a bite left to them. Well, I like my sprouts with just a little bit of bite left to them. You can cook them however you want. Obviously, don't forget the salt, otherwise they're going to be boring as hell. Now to get them cooked through, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to the pan. And put a lid on, and they should only take about another 5 minutes, and they'll be done. Alright, once they're cooked to your liking, and it's got a nice little bit of sauce on the bottom, you're ready to serve them. All right, my meat's registering 92 degrees. Exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna just peel the foil back a little bit. Ow. Burn myself in the process, because, you know, that's how you do. And then I'm just gonna double check with another probe just to see how it's feeling and make sure we are at the right temperature. Not even looking at the temperature, just by feel, this meat's done. So, we're gonna get it off. But I need to get something so I don't burn my hands on that pan. People wonder how I can eat so much meat. Because I have to walk up and down because I forget something as simple as, you know, some towels to get the paint off there. That's how I have to walk all the way up there and back just to get these. All I'm going to do now is take out the probe, take the meat off. Now I'm also, so this doesn't overcook and turn to mush, I'm just going to let it steam out a little bit and get a proper look at the meat, which looks pretty damn good to me. Alright, so we're just going to loosely tent it, and we're going to let this rest for at least an hour. Inside, because if it was outside, it'd probably cool down a little too much, because it is quite chilly out here. Before I take the meat up and rest though, I am going to prepare the grill to give it a good burnout, because I will be packing it away again tomorrow. So, got some leftover pellets here. Just going to scoop most of them out by hand. Now, there is a little trapdoor on the back of this that I could use if there was more in there, but I was smart and thought ahead and didn't fill the thing right up, so I can just do it by hand. Scoop a majority of them out. As you can see, I've left just a little bit in there. Now I'm going to turn the grill into high heat, and I'm just going to let that do its thing. I'm going to let all the rest of the pellets go into the burn chamber and burn it all out. Also, this burns off any of the juices that dripped out of the meat onto the grates and everything. Everything just turns to charcoal, makes clean up a breeze. So, we'll let that do its thing, and we'll get this meat inside. Back up the stairs. Now the meat needs to rest, and I do too. To speed up the burn off process, you just push the prime button, lets it go through, heats it up a little bit quicker. Alright, so I've had my grill, pellets are nearly all burnt out, and so at this point, I just like to get these bigger parts, these bigger chunks on the grill. Just give them a little rub with the brush, and they all come straight off now. No hassle. Little rub. Looking good. Some little temperature probe here. Anyway. Also, I'll get my little middle rack here. I'll put that back in. It's been sitting outside all day. It's just in case I got any bit of wetness on it. Get that dried off. We'll put them on there. Also, after the smoke tube burns out, you can just leave that on the grill too. We'll vacuum all that out when we do the main burn pot tomorrow. So we'll get it all closed back down. Hold the prime button back down again. And we just wait until the fire goes out. Shouldn't be too much longer. Alright, all my pellets are gone out of there. And my temperature's starting to drop on here. So I know all the pellets are gone through into the burn chamber. And it's just the last little remnants burning up there. So now, simple enough, turn it all off. Now usually I wouldn't turn it straight off because I'd want it to keep running and burn up most of the pellets in there. But I'm going to be vacuuming that out tomorrow morning anyway. So I'm just going to turn it straight off and then get it back under the cover so it doesn't get all frosty. It's up to you whether you keep the skin on or not. As you can see, I'm removing mine. Okay, with all this amazing light we have got going on right now, it's time to get the pumpkin ready. So, just the pumpkin, a little bit of olive oil, got some fresh sage, and some salt. We'll get it all mixed up. I'm going to pour them all out onto a baking sheet lined with some baking paper. And we're going to bung these into a 200 degrees Celsius preheated oven with the fan on until they're all nice and roasty. Probably take around 30-40 minutes. To make a quick gravy out of the juices from the bottom of the pan. You just pour them straight into a pot. So I was going to make a sauce out of this. Do a bunch of fancy stuff like, you know, cornstarch slayer and everything. But all it needs is me to warm it up and add a little bit of salt. And that's just perfect. Once your pumpkin's finished, you give it a little drizzle of maple syrup straight on the baking tray. Then gently give it a little mix around so all of the pumpkin gets covered with a little bit of the maple syrup. You don't want a lot. Then get them into another bowl. And top with a few of your crispy sage leaves. There'll be many ways to serve this up. I'm just going to lob this big piece off here and then take some slices off. So we're going to spoon some of the juices straight over the top of the meat. We get some of the sprouts on there. I do like me some sprouts. Finish it off with some pumpkin and crispy sage leaves. Let's see how the smoked leg compares to the roasted one I did a couple of weeks back. While the meat's always wonderful, the size is where a dish really comes together. I can't plate, as you can see, but if you sit around the table and have everything in the middle and people plate themselves, it's how my plate usually ends up. Brussels sprouts with bacon. You can't really go wrong. Add a squeeze of that balsamic cream and chestnuts in there. That's a winning side dish in my opinion. And pumpkin with crispy sage leaves. That's just amazing. Pair it with that crispy spice rub I put on the meat. Sure does get you in the festive spirit. Now comes the sad part of the day. The cleaning before I have to put it back to bed. All I do is remove the grates, vacuum out all the ash, wipe up all the grease, and put it all back together. You never got to get it back to new. That's all the cleaning you need to do. It's all packs away and nothing bad's going to happen to it. I've done this hundreds of times before already and it's still working just fine. So now I've got to put all the bits back together. That's all I need to do to the inside. Another important thing before we get rid of the gloves is to clean out your grease trap. Which, considering the only thing I cooked on here was a beef leg, and it was a considerably quick cook in the scheme of things, very much in there, so that'll be quick work. Anyway, I've repurposed this old esky as a little storage box. I actually forget to take it off underneath one time, kind of melted the lid. But anyway, makes for a perfect little storage box for all your grilling knickknacks. Another little handy feature of the old pit boss here is you remove the front tray, slips under there for a nice little shelf. Okay, time for the cover. Good night, my baby. Now all that's left to do is to shove it back in the corner. And that's all there is to it. A few simple steps for a quick smoking session.